Hello everyone and welcome back to From Our Basement Gaming.
Hey everyone!
We are back with part 2 of our Kid Icarus Let's Play.
That we are.
And yes, so we are continuing on from where we left off.
That we are. I'm fighting these,
The kitties are really getting into stuff.
yeah, they're probably not happy at all.
Yeah, they're protesting because we came up close to food time without feeding them. It's not food time yet, it's like a little bit early, and we wanted to record more. We just frankly both had to take care of things upstairs.
Yes, you know,
Yeah.
housework.
Yeah, so we went up to do that, and the kitties were like, "Oh, dinner time," and we're like, "Oh, not quite yet," and they're like, "No dinner time?" Yeah. So we got upset, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I swear I thought I heard them knock something over.
Let's see if they like this.
We'll show you no food at dinner time. Yeah. Yep. So that's pretty much what we're up to. We talked about in previous videos about going to the conventions we went to. We do have another one we're planning to go to this at the end of this month.
Mm-hmm.
Which is brand new. We haven't been to this one yet. We've been to the convention center that it's at, but we haven't been to this specific convention.
Right.
So that'll be interesting. And yep, that'll be a week, whole weekend. But I don't know if we'll attend Friday because we have to drive there.
Right.
And Fridays, we at least know a work day for Connor. I'm not sure yet if it is for me or not. Yeah, we're gonna kind of play that by ear. We're debating about whether to at least take some time off so we can get there, before the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Preferably.
It can be a long trek.
Yeah. Because it's out of state for us.
Yes.
And then that convention center is where Too Many Games is. So if we go to Too Many Games, that'll be a month later at the end of June. So, yeah. Easy peasy.
Yes.
We might go to a one-day event that's in the beginning of June. But that one wouldn't require a hotel stay, yay, because it's in-state and it's only one day.
Yep.
Those are easier on our wallets because we don't have to worry about hotels.
That's true.
And it's also kind of good for us to get a survey about what kind of events are around and what we'd enjoy doing.
Yeah, it is.
Spread our wings a little bit.
Yeah. Learn to fly.
Yeah.
Like a bird. In the sky.
Yeah. Yes, this reference. But yeah,
I wasn't even trying.
I know. I know you weren't, but it was a reference.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I just didn't know what for 5 seconds.
You're like, I don't know what I'm referencing, but okay, I'll take your word for it. Yeah. But yeah, I meant, like, you know, expanding our horizons, because for a while we got down to only going to one convention. And the one convention that we infamously stopped going to has a guest that I am kind of frustrated about, because I
What?
really like that.
You can go through the platform?
What happened? Why did we die?
I don't know. I just squat down and then all of a sudden I went through the ice.
Maybe it melts if you're on it too long?
Huh. Strange.
Or it's a glitch, I'm not really sure. But yeah, one of those big conventions that we stopped going to because they got too big for their britches has a guest that I would really like to see. And then they don't credit him for the one role that I actually care about that I would see him for.
Wow, you can go through the ice.
Yeah, okay. Well, now we know.
Yeah, I am shocked that you can do that.
We've got striped wallpaper on our TV right now, so Connor is watching the computer monitor.
Yes.
There we go, it's back.
Ah, good.
But yeah, so I'm kind of like, I have to be like... fighting the temptation to go see that guest, especially because this convention infamously has kept me from getting the autographs of the guests.
Yep.
Like, twice. And so if they kept me from getting this guy's autograph, I would be ultimately pissed.
Yep.
So, it might just be a case where I'd have to pay attention and hope and pray that he'll come to other conventions. Because the only thing that big convention's got going for it still that other conventions don't have is that they have a lot of Japanese guests.
Clout. Yep. Japanese guests and clout.
Well, that too, I suppose.
Uh-huh. Shoes.
I'm just mad at Otakon for not even... Okay, so it's... I name dropped them. I was trying so hard. I am so sorry. It's
That's
Otakon.
okay.
It's Otakon, okay. Yeah. Those of you who know we're in Maryland probably could have figured it out anyway.
Yeah.
But anyway, so... the guest they're having come is the guy who voices Knuckles in the Japanese version of the Sonic video games of Sonic X. He's basically been the voice of Knuckles since Sonic Adventure and still is the voice of Knuckles. But apparently, since he also voiced Guts in Berserk, and some other anime characters who I'm not familiar with, that was all Otakon was giving him credit for. And they didn't go. And also, the voice of Knuckles was kind of annoying me, because I'm like...
Rightfully so.
I'm like, I didn't even know he was Guts, because I never watched Berserk, because I didn't need to. People loved and talked about Berserk so much that I almost feel like I have seen it, despite not seeing it. So... yeah, so I'm not like, oh my god, yeah, I need to see him because he voiced Guts. No, I don't care. He's Knuckles the Echidna. That's all I care about.
Right. Guts wasn't either of our lives.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I feel bad for the dude. He was royally screwed over by his best friend turned enemy. And lost pretty much everything, so yeah, feel bad for the dude, but I don't even know what his voice sounds like because I didn't watch Berserk, so I would assume he doesn't sound like Knuckles, because that would be weird.
Most likely.
Because I assume Kana is very versatile.
Yep. Glad you came, Pit. Here, take this. It's dangerous to go outside.
Not because it's dangerous to go alone or anything, just
Although those things do look like Octorocks.
they do.
It is.
And they're like, what? There are only so many sprites this console can make. Don't give me that look.
Yeah. Well, Pit's a little stronger now, so we made that much progress.
Yay! Yeah, he's got a cool upgrade.
Yep. He reappears, but he disappears?
Yeah, that must have been a glitch.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm kind of like, ugh, about that, because the badge is nearly $100.
Fart.
And they're in August, because they're always like, usually July or August. But we probably won't be going to see them, and I'll be praying forever that I can see Knuckles somewhere else.
Same, me too.
Because any of the English voice actors who voiced Knuckles will probably never come to the East Coast, so I probably will. It won't be very likely that I will see any of Knuckles' voice actors for a while. So I'm kind of like, that sucks, man. It would especially suck if I showed up to like a Q&A and I'm like the only one who remembers he's Knuckles. That would really suck. He would probably be happy though. He'd be like, oh, finally somebody asked about Knuckles.
And not...
And not Guts for the millionth time.
Or brain rot.
Now, if those kids ask... I don't know... Yeah, I don't know if the Japanese have a word for that, so I think he would be kind of like...
What is this?
If he either knows what they're saying, he might be concerned and take it kind of literally.
Yeah, he would ask his translator, and then...
translator would be like, it's just something silly the kids are into. I don't know. Not sure what I would say. Because I'm guessing that's what brain rot is. It's like nonsensical stuff. I really don't know.
Would YouTube poos count as brain rot?
That's almost an insult to
Nah.
YouTube poops, I think.
I don't think so.
I'll look it up later.
I don't think YouTube poos are that.
That's the only time when I'm fighting and feel old because I'm like, what are these kids into these big brain rot? Why would they want to rot their brains? It's like, no, Grandpa, it's not literally rotting your brain. Well, why do we call it that? Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm guessing that it's some kind of nonsensical, like skibbity toilet type thing.
Yeah.
It's funny, one of my kids said skibbity toilet, and I'm like, oh my god, I haven't heard that in like half a year or so. I'm like, is that still a thing? And he's like, no, I just said it. Like, what? I'm like, are you trying to bring it back or something? And he just kind of smiled. Yeah, oh god. You guys are secretly evil.
Evil.
A lot of the thing, I guess that's the other thing that's a little bit bothersome to me about a lot of the stuff. I mean, beyond Skibbity Toilet and that Italian brain rot song that I didn't bother learning the name of because it's some kind of stupid nonsensical name.
Same.
Is that a lot of the stuff is not produced by Gen Alpha, so
right.
It feels very manipulative because it feels like people in our generation or in Gen Z are like deciding this is what the kids will be into.
I decreeth this.
And it feels very, like, I'm pretty sure, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that people who made Skibbity Toilet are probably millennials.
Yep.
So, I feel like it's a bunch of manipulative adults
Pretty much.
creating this stuff, and then, you know, people in our generation go, what's wrong with the kids these days? They're
behaving badly from the stuff I'm making.
Yeah. That's kind of my concern, and I could be wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong. And I get it, because Gen Alpha's young, so maybe a lot of them aren't making content, per se.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if they are.
Yeah, but still, it's like, if we're so worried, why don't we make them, you know, pressure the people making the content? Because pressuring YouTube to stop it doesn't work. So why don't we pressure the people who are making the content to make smarter content?
Mm-hmm.
If they're in these same age groups that are complaining. But I don't know. I think it's just laziness. That nonsensical stuff is easier to make, I feel like.
Yep. It is.
And I mean no offense to you, any of you, if you're one of those people and you're watching this, but it's like, come on, man.
Wow, 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 wow,
wow, wow, wow, wow, wow. Yeah. I was so annoyed at one article I read that was like, sorry, Dragon Ball fans, but Dragon Ball is actually not even is not the most popular anime in Japan. It's not even in the top 3, and then I click on it, and they say it's number 3. And I'm like, you lied to my face.
You liar! I wouldn't break your heart, you liar!
You said it's not even in the top 3, and then it's the 3rd one you list in the thing.
You lying fools!
Because it only listed 3 things. That's the other thing, we're supposed to be listing the top 10, but they only listed 3, and I'm like, did they accidentally press publish? And then we're like, oh no, oh well. Because there were only 3 anime listed. And it said, yeah, the number 1 trending anime in Japan is actually Pokemon.
Pokemon?
I'm like, you had to write an article to tell us that? It's so freaking obvious, and it's because of merchandise sales.
Mm-hmm.
It's so frustrating.
It is.
a lot of these online journals, and I'm going to, this time I won't say the name, I promise. I won't let it slip. Unless I already said the name. Did I say the name?
I don't know if you said the name.
I don't think I said the name. But a lot of them are getting lazy now. They'll they'll write articles that don't need to be written about something, like one scene in an anime, or like something that doesn't even need to be written. Like Dragon Ball proves that Bulma loves Vegeta.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. Right? They're married, so I would hope.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think they ever had an official wedding. But I'm like, who knows, maybe they did. But I don't even know if that's the most egregious example, but I was trying to give a quick example.
I understand.
Yeah. Oh, what's one that was like really cool? Can't remember. There was one where it's like, I have a brain, so I can figure that out on my own. Thank you so much, article.
I have a brain. I have an article. Sorry.
I don't even think that'll work.
No, it doesn't work.
I have a brain. I have a thought. Idea. No, that doesn't work either.
Yeah. It's probably obviously now. We are huge fans of that guy. And the screen goes black.
Pico Taro's a lot of fun. I don't actually know much about the guy, though.
Other than he looks nice and he likes to...
I feel like a fake fan, but yeah.
Mash things together, like...
And he was on Sesame Street in Japan.
Oh, I don't know.
And that's what got him to be viral internationally, was when he showed up on an episode of Sesame Street in Japan. For those of you who don't know.
Nice.
Because the APPA song is from that.
Ah, so...
I don't know specifically what episode, but I remember when I looked up the clip, Elmo was there, and I think Big Bird was there.
Nice.
Because they have a segment on Japanese Sesame Street where they teach the kids some English. So that's what it was from. He was explaining, I guess, cool. Kind of the most bare bones, basic kind of compound words in English. So that's why he had I have a pen, I have an apple,
Apple pen.
Apple pen, yeah. Because he eventually was going to get into talking about pineapple, even though that's not how pineapple's spelled. But he was, you know.
I do know what you're saying.
He was trying to very simply and in a fun way explain you can take two English words, mash them together, and make a new English word.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have a pen, and I have a pen. A long pen.
Yeah, long pen, exactly.
Yeah.
Which, it's probably very easy for Japanese kids to get, because Japanese has that. As well. They have a lot of compound words. A lot of fun compound words, too. Yeah.
Yep.
Sometimes with my kids that I'm tutoring for reading, I have to do compound words with them.
Oh, craps. I forgot, if you get the little Grim Reaper toy, you lose.
Wow.
Pretty much.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah.
Yep. Good old Picotaro.
Mhm.
Whoops. I think I have to do this, yeah.
If you want to learn the Japanese names of sushi, he has a song called I Am Sushi.
Nice.
That's used, I think it's to teach Japanese people the English names of sushi. But it can work in reverse. As long as you're able to read hiragana.
Yes.
I don't think he put it in. He might have put it. I don't remember. But anyway, it was helpful because I know most of the Japanese sushi names, but there were like two I didn't know that I was like, oh, okay, that's what that is. This is nice to know, especially when you're like in Japan and then just put this plate of sushi there and you don't recognize all of it. Kinda nice to know what you're eating.
Oh yeah.
I know some people are like, oh, I'd rather not know because it'll make me not want to eat it. But I'm like, no, I want to know. I don't want to not know and find out later that I don't know. It's just
Well, it's better to know
more
than
comforting.
to be ignorant. Yeah.
And also, I don't get as bothered about the idea that I've had certain foods than other people. Like, I know some people would be like, oh no octopus, no eel. I'm like, whatever. My only problem with eel is I didn't really like the taste, but I wasn't upset that it was an eel.
Same.
Would I ever eat eel when it was just alive in front of my face? No. But they don't do that in Japan. I don't know what country they do that in.
Me neither.
There are some countries that like their seafood very fresh.
Yes.
And I'm like, yeah, that's okay. That's what our ancestors did in the early days, so who am I to judge?
Yep. I remember hearing that story about the octopus on the windpipe.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people tell it as if the octopus was still alive and he ate it alive. But I have a theory that might not have been the case. I'm wondering if something, like while it was going down, I'm wondering if the octopus had a muscle spasm, because sometimes when something dies, it's still capable of moving like right after it dies, like the body will spasm. I don't know if you've heard that before, and I don't know if that's the case with an octopus. I don't know much about them, but I've heard instances of like a human body will like twitch or move, and the person will think, oh my god, they're still alive, but they're really not. It's just a weird phenomena that happens. I'm not a doctor or scientist or anything, so I don't know why.
Me neither.
So I'm almost wondering if the octopus was dead, but it was killed right then and there, and then eaten. And they didn't bother waiting to make sure it wasn't gonna still move. So I'm wondering if the as a reflex, it like grabbed the guy's windpipe, even though it was a dead octopus.
Right.
I don't know for sure though. Wasn't there, but I feel like the news article claimed it was still alive. Which I don't know. I worry that a lot of those news articles bend the truth because they're like, oh, exotic foreign country, they do weird things like eat food that's still living, you know.
Right.
I worry that it was one of those cases, but I don't know for sure. Okay, so...
I know we're running a long time.
yeah, we can get to the point where we either advance or die. But there's no level breaks, so it'll probably have to be when we die, unfortunately. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how much of a good time we're having.
Right.
Kitties aren't fun. Well,
that's the end of today's episode, everybody.
okay, bye guys. We'll see you next time.
Yep. Take care.
Our next password. Alright, bye.